Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Sword, the Crown Tundra expansion. But I want to grab that Tortuga right there, just as I happen to be standing right here. I'm thinking I'm going to. I'm spending a lot of these resources, but let's be fair, what am I going to use them on? Like, we're at what is effectively the tail end of the game. You know, even if I wanted to play like competitively, which I don't. You can't use these items competitively as far as I'm aware, so what exactly are they being, saved for? I think I commented on it in the past, but, there are people who are kind of upset about these two expansions, and that they are primarily a catching thing. They're really kind of focused on, they're really focused on just, let's go catch pokes, let's go do stuff. I kind of like it a little bit, because, I always enjoyed the catching aspect, the collection aspect of Pokemon. I mean, it might just be that I am one of those people who likes to go and kind of do it all, do everything. I really appreciate, collect-em-alls and collect-a-thon types of games. I love going after achievements. So Pokemon as a game just kind of ends up being that in a nutshell, right? It ends up being that as a thing. And I've played a couple of different games that have tried to do this over the years. One, actually, that really comes to mind was Ni no Kuni 1. And Ni no Kuni 1, for some reason, did not give me that same itch, the same way that Pokemon does. Because Ni no Kuni 1, for those of you guys who didn't play Ni no Kuni, it very much had a Pokemon-style feel to it. It very much was a collect monsters, and wow, a crit capture that failed. It happens, but it's rare. But it definitely had that collect-em-all, or not collect-em-all necessarily, but it had that aspect to it. You did kind of tame monsters, and those monsters ended up fighting on your behalf. And there were tons and tons to collect. There was evolutions. There were a variety of things of that nature. But for some reason, I don't know if it was that I played Ni no Kuni before I got super into collect-em-all, or if it was just the style of Ni no Kuni did not lend itself towards towards my interest. It didn't do the same thing. I couldn't really tell you what the truth of the matter was there. But kind of no matter which way you slice it, it ended up being a situation where I just did not want to do that sort of gameplay for that game. But Pokemon has always been a little bit different in that regard. I don't know really what it is about Pokemon that kind of changes it. If it's the interesting combat aspect, the turn-based nature, because Ni no Kuni was a kind of a real-time aspect. If you're familiar with like the gameplay of something like Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 13, that more, real-time with ATB elements battle system. That's how Ni no Kuni 1 did it. I've been meaning to actually do a playthrough of it at some point. The channel, probably I should. But a very distinctly different feel for that. And, I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know if it was the real-time aspect, but Pokemon tickles me that way. I enjoy going out of my way to find things. And it's also kind of interesting to kind of figure out, where is this? If I want to go hunt down this Pokemon or that item, or, insert this here. But, what do I want to do? There's also the Pokemon that have the very unique evolution styles. There's something fun to that. Even if I'm not actually discovering it myself, even if I'm just looking it up, it's a very, very different, very fun aspect of things. Now, we should have an evolution here, and we should have a thing here. Celios, data will be added to the Pokedex. The ball roll Pokemon. Celio live on top of drift ice. They go swimming when they're on the hunt, seeking out their prey by scent. That's the evolution to, Spheal back there. Not 100% sure what just happened with Slowpoke. If it's not, I thought it was a just evolve or a level up while holding this item, but I'm wondering if... Oh, you know what? I did the same thing last time. I know what it is. I know it is. I gave it to him, and I'm supposed to use it on him. Different rules. Yeah, use it on him. Okay, here we go. Slowpoke is evolving. There we go. The Galarian form of Slowking, who looks kind of neat. I'm a fan. Not type of really Pokemon I'd use, but I like the design. Slowking, the Hexpert Pokemon, Galarian form. A combination of toxins and the shock of evolving has increased Shelder's intelligence to the point that Shelder now controls Slowking. Got a little bit of a zombie thing going on here. Wants to learn the move Eerie Spell. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this one. Eerie Spell. The user attacks with its tremendous psychic power. This also removes 3 PP from the target's last move. That's fairly powerful, which is kind of neat. And then giving you a little bit of that Spite move. I never really used Spite. I didn't find it particularly useful. It was always just annoying when the NPCs would use it against you. So I'm very kind of amused, I guess, is the term I want to use. I am very amused by the idea of Spite being used like that. Tortuga needs to move. There's one Tortuga. There is 2 Tortuga. Spheal can go here. There's Celio. Is that everything that I wouldn't... No, there's the darn Manitan. I don't know. I caught this thing. I'm gonna toss in my trade bait box. I don't know if that thing is... I have to go check to see if that thing is a Dynamax. I don't know if that's... if that was a thing there. We gotta level up that Tortuga. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't really... Oh, you know what? I haven't been paying any attention to the footprints. I forgot that those were a thing. I'm gonna have to... start keeping an eye out for these. There's been, you know, they've been all over the place, and I forgot that was a thing I was supposed to be on the lookout for. So we'll be looking for that, because that is another poke to go hunting for. And you can just imagine how many of these. There's my Walrein. Okay. But imagine how many of these I've missed because I wasn't actually on the lookout for them. You know, part of me kind of likes this concept, but at the same time, I am pretty darn certain that I'm just going to run into a situation where, you know, I miss a couple of these, and then I'm going to be hunting all over the place. You know, it's like the Diglett, just worse. Like, that Diglett minigame was cute to a point. Finding all those Diglett. It was cute up to a point, and at that point was, I have 1 or 2 left, they're hard to see, this is obnoxious, why are you doing this to me? You know, it definitely had that feel. These things are small, they're a little bit hard to actually see. Okay, apparently this one heals in blizzard conditions. That's fine. Yeah, not a big fan of the fact that they actually heal themselves. Okay. I also enjoy the concept of just, like, filling out the log, right? And in this case, it's the Pokedex, but I enjoy watching it you know, slowly get filled up, slowly, gradually, doing all the things. There's a definite satisfaction when you reach a point where a game is 100% complete. You know, you have done it all. You did everything. You have milked the game for all that it has. And I think it's more fun, especially with a game like Pokemon, where it is such a long process. There are exceptions, though. You know, I very much think of a game like Skyrim. Unfortunately, Skyrim would not have this. I'm saying it would not. It did not have the same grab on me that that Pokemon did. You know, yes, there's a lot to do. Yes, I have a lot I can go accomplish. There are, you know, tons of dungeons to explore and tons of quests to do and things like that. But at a certain point, you know, it just kind of like, okay, well, I've done this before in a different body. And, you know, I say that, and you look at Pokemon, and you go, well, wait, you know, what's the difference between Pokemon and Skyrim in this case? Like, in Pokemon, you're just hitting false swipe 7 times, then throwing a Pokeball. Like, what is the difference there? And to be honest with you, I don't actually have an answer for you. I couldn't tell you what the difference is between Pokemon and Skyrim in terms of me wanting to complete it, or Mario Odyssey and Skyrim. You know, I can tell you that I don't want to do Skyrim, but I don't know what I don't know what it is. So we got Walrein, the Ice Break Pokemon. Walrein form herds of 20 to 30 individuals. When a threat appears, the herd's leader will protect the group with its life. You know, even something like there's even a difference between like a game like you know, Fallout New Vegas for me and Skyrim. New Vegas, I felt the need to go explore and kind of do everything. Skyrim, I just didn't. And I don't know what that difference is. I couldn't tell you. Something about this game just kind of tickles me pink. You know, they're this style of game, this, you know, this genre. Because it is a genre at this point. You know, at the point where we are in video games, especially if you're watching, you know, somewhat recent releases and things like that, Pokemon is not just a game anymore. It's not a series anymore. Pokemon is more of a genre. You know, we look at, you know, you can look at games like Monster Rancher and stuff like that. Some of those older titles, Digimon, those kind of did a lot of the same feeling things. But now we're having games that directly are, you know, I don't want to necessarily use the word like encroaching or cribbing necessarily, but they are very much going after the Pokemon formula, and they're using it. They're taking that formula, the concept of, you know, here is a monster. Catch it, train it, use it in combat, so on and so forth. There's a new title that I saw on Steam that's not even in early access, but it's in pre-order. That, like, you do capture and train monsters, but you actually use them to build houses, and you can put them to work in a factory. There's guns involved that you know, the Pokemon can actually defend you from it. You can go hunting in it. You'll actually hunt for these pokes and shoot them and such like that. A very, very different target audience, a different game feel than, you know, the Pokemon that I know and love. But it's still using that concept of, you know, trainable monsters that you use in combat. It's a lot of the same, you know, the same concept, even if it isn't the same game, even if it's not targeted at necessarily the same, you know, the same target audience, if it doesn't use all of the same styles, it very much is a Pokemon-style game. And I just don't know what it is about that genre that appeals to me. Probably a piece of it's probably the collectible aspect to it, certainly. I think what appeals to me specifically about, like, Pokemon as opposed to some of the other titles is there's more of a slice of life aspect to Pokemon, especially nowadays with the latest games. Not so much with some of the older titles, but with current titles in Pokemon, it's very much slice of life. You do get to kind of see how the Pokemon world works, how Pokemon themselves are... Oh, darn it. That just popped up right in front of me. But you definitely get to see how Pokemon interact with real life, how they're actually brought in. You know, how they are both wildlife, how they interact with people. And I find that to be kind of fascinating. It's more than just a... You know, hey, there are monsters in this world, and those monsters are doing things. You know, it ends up being this whole, there are monsters, but they actually are, they are more than just monsters. You know, it's the difference between, like, a Monster Hunter title and Pokemon. Monster Hunter, you go and you hunt them, and you use their parts and things like that. You know, you might, you know, turn their skeleton into a house or something like that. But how much are you actually, you know, you're not coexisting in any way. It looks like these things respawn. Okay. 100% of the data needed to track it. Go to Freezington to let Professor Sonia know. Okay, so we did that. Whoops. There's something interesting. I mean, I say this about Monster Hunter. There's definitely parts of Monster Hunter where, like, this is how these impact. You know, if you look at, like, Monster Hunter World, which is the last one that I put a fair amount of time into, you know, there is definitely a reasonable amount of, I kind of want to say, like, game discussion, but that's not really the term we're looking for here. But there's a reasonable amount of the game where they are talking about, like, the ecology of the monsters and how they interact and how, you know, their existence impinges on humanity and what you have to do to deal with them. But, you know, that's cute and all, it really is. But there's also this kind of feeling where it's like, okay, but with the understanding that you can't systematically kill every monster you see, which I'm not, that's not a, like, some of these monsters are huge, but there's also, like, especially in the Monster Hunter world, there's a kind of, an interest in the ecology of it. You know, they understand that you can't kill every monster. You have to actually interact with them, have to actually do stuff. Okay, what do we got here? This is a new one. Okay, we got Training Record 75, Stone Edge. And nothing over here. Okay, what's the hint here? But the first Pokemon hold a never-changing stone. Well, that's actually really easy. I actually have a number of those. I know exactly what item it's talking about. In this case... Interesting. Actually, I haven't seen some of these. Okay, so what we are looking for... I have to actually find out. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'll know exactly what it is when I find it. We have used them before, and I've picked up like 7 of them over the course of the past 2 or 3 episodes. Let's see. It's a certain rock. It's an Everstone. Everstone prevents Pokemon from evolving. So by having that stone in my hands, apparently we shall go in. Okay, let's go ahead and, I know it did just say it's saved, but I'm just going to go ahead and save anyways, because I don't trust it. And let's go ahead and also, because of this, let's go ahead and heal up. Now, I'm going to make a guess. This is an obnoxious guess. I'm not happy about this. But I'm going to make a guess that this poke is going to be immune to paralysis. This should be RcRock, is my assumption. Azazariza. Might be Registeel. Nope, it's RcRock. Now, what I don't know is if it's rock and ground. If it is ground type, then I'm not going to be able to nuzzle it. Nope. Cool. Got the paralysis. Superpower is going to... Wow. It's rock type, that's right. And Emolga is flying type, so Emolga doesn't care. Now, here's the problem. Rock type is good against steel, so Aegislash is not really a good option. Unfortunately, neither is Corviknight, but the difference here is that Corviknight's also flying, so it should even out. Let's Steel Wing, and let's see how bad this goes. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Curse? That's not a move you're supposed to use. Okay, I only have 19 Ultra Balls, so let's kind of hope this goes faster than the last one did. Nope. Okay, that's fine. I really like the slice of life aspect about a lot of things. Kind of seeing it's more than just the... It's more than just I'm seeing monsters, I'm doing things, I'm fighting, whatever the case may be. I really want a game where we're actually seeing how these unique things that are in this world directly impact the lives of those living in it. If you have a if you have a game like an RPG where there are monsters everywhere, but citizens just don't care, like monsters don't mean anything, then the monsters aren't really in that world, right? They're a game. I'm trying to think what word I'm looking for here. They are a game structure. They're a game thing. Got RcRock. 2 out of 3 of the Reggies. We know where the 4th one is already. Bagon levels up. Awesome. Which might be an evolution, actually. Yes, it is. It's a game construction, right? The monsters are just there. They're not part of the world. They are just they're a system. They're the same thing as a menu. A menu doesn't exist in the world. So it's a very distinctly different thing. Shelgon now, it's the Endurance Pokemon. This Pokemon has covered its body in a hard shell that has the same composition as bone. Shelgon stores energy for evolution. We're not going to learn Protect. That's fine. And we get to pop Shelgon out. Now we got RcRock, the Rock Peak Pokemon. Every bit of RcRock's body is made of stone. As parts of its body erode, this Pokemon sticks rocks to itself to repair what's been lost. Let's go ahead and send that to a box. Now, didn't we find the other one? Did I just not, Okay. Far into the giant's bed lays a temple where the giant of stone sleeps. On the temple's door are strange words. Let the first Pokemon hold an ever-changing stone. When I give my Pokemon an Everstone. Okay, we got that. Back to Cryogonal. So, we have to figure out, this one. Beep, beep, beep. Oi, oi, it's me, Peony. You're looking out for yourself out there, Chief. Come again. You met the rock giant RcRock. Ha ha ha! Smashing job, Chief. Now time to keep looking for the other giants. Okay. Yeah, I think just for me, it's a world building, thing at the end of the day. I'm fascinated by world building. I love world building. It is a huge and fun thing for me. So I absolutely do want to see games where that level of world building is in there. So I want to know what your NPCs have to say about monsters. I want to know, if there's a construction, Oh. If there is an enemy that is threatening the world, it's one thing if it's a threat that the people don't know about, right? But if the little people know about it, if the standard villager knows about it, they should be reacting to it. I should be able to talk to them about it, and they should be able to let me know. It's kind of that. It's that feel of it. I was watching the 90s superhero movie The Shadow recently. Fun movie. And towards the end of the movie, there is a threat on New York City, right? The main villain is going to nuke New York. And so there's a moment where the game, or not the game, the movie has a newsboy who is, extra, read all about it, villain plans to nuke New York. And no one in the area responds to this in any way. Like, there's no panic. The people don't seem to care. It just doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, the world building just absolutely fails. Like, there's no reaction from the body public to this thing that's going on. And you end up seeing this in a disturbingly wide variety of media, where these things that are going on, these events, these threats, what have you, they don't really mean anything at the end of the day because no one responds to them. So there's a fair amount that I play video games, or I'll do a thing where it's not even a question of immersion. It's just like the game doesn't feel as fun because you don't see these kind of interests. So I think that's one of the reasons why I also really appreciate these games. I've actually really appreciated the Crown Tundra expansion, especially because of this. Because this is not just a place to go explore and see rare pokes. But there's an actual... we meet someone whose explicit point being here is to hunt for them and kind of engages you in that respect on we're both hunting for rare things, let's talk about it. There are people researching, there are discussions about, these Pokemon that we're finding. People are actually interacting in that way. There's also, you actually see, to some limited extent in the games, but we're starting to see it more and more as time moves on. Fortnite just sitting there. Oh, Bolton, leave me alone. But we're starting to see in the games more and more. You're starting to actually see the interaction between people and Pokemon. And we always saw a little bit of it, right? If you watched a lot of like the older titles, especially like the original Pokemon Red, Blue. Do I already have a Tyrant? If you already watched the original games, you did see occasionally like someone standing around with a poke and they're talking about what they're doing. But you don't really, we do not. You never really see it. You don't see it in the same way that you do in some of the newer games. If we end up talking about like, a game like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, you saw a fair amount of this in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did it a lot. But you actually see where these pokes are actually interacting with people. They're actually doing things. You're seeing a Magmar who's actually cooking. You get to see a Diglett helping to excavate. You see these little things where the actual Pokemon itself is doing a thing with you. And that is kind of it's a very interesting way to build the world. It makes it so these monsters, it's not what it was in the original games, where it's all these Pokemon do is they go out with this random 12-year-old and go battle. They don't just fight. They're actually doing stuff. And, you do... There was a little bit of this in some of the older games. I remember in Pokemon Gold and Silver, when you went to, I think it was Goldenrod, there was an area where you got to, hear about Machoke and Machamp helping to, move boxes around. But that's a very distinctly different thing than when you were in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and you find this old woman who is in a graveyard, and she gives you the ability to call a Machamp who will help you carry you around, and who moves heavy bricks. It's their version of strength. But what's kind of interesting is it's the way the Machamp carries you and the way the woman's talking about it. It's very much, this is in lieu of a wheelchair for her, which is a very super interesting way to introduce world building in just this small way. You know, it's giving us HM strength, but in addition to that, this is how we interact with the game. This is how we interact with Pokemon. And that's just, it's a super interesting thing for me. And I think part of what I really appreciate about Pokemon, and there was some of this in Ni no Kuni as well, but we get this major viewpoint into what these Pokemon are like based on, among other things, their Pokedex entry. You know, hearing stuff like, Omanite is now, overpopulated and an issue because it was restored from fossils over and over and over. It all of a sudden points to a Pokemon ecology, and even if the game's not going that deep into it, it's super interesting. And then some of the discussions we get out of, like, Pokemon Snap. Same concept. Tyrunch, the Royal Air Pokemon. This is an ancient Pokemon revived in modern times. It has a violent disposition, and it'll tear apart anything it gets between its hefty jaws. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I love you all. We will be continuing to explore wherever I am right now. I don't know what this region is. Ballimere Lake. We'll be continuing. It actually looks like this is the last region I have left to explore, really, actually. Which is kind of interesting. We got this Ballimere Lake. We have whatever this is, Dynatree Hill, Lakeside Cave. But apart from that, it looks like I've just about been everywhere, so we're probably going to be advancing the storyline. We got to go over to Giant's Bed. This is where that other Reggie was. So we got a couple things we have left to do. But yeah, I'm going to be continuing that next time. But thanks for watching. I love you all. I'll see you later.